It is Samoan of the Week. Malea ua filifilia mai ei se tasi o alo Samoa le tamaitai ia Aigagalefili Fepulea'i Tapua'i. O ia fo ilea sa avea ma head girl o se tasi o kolisi Aorere College. Ma o ia o loo avea o ia masui filifilia o Tupulanga Pasifika o loo fina wina nisi o mata upu awale lelei o atato Tupulanga Talavou. Le ngata fo ilea sa ia manu malo inisi o whailonga tawaloa o tusinga tala. Ia mo le teimi nei o loo a onga o ia i le University AUT inisi fo i o mata upu tautu la fono masio si o manga. E le ngata fo ilea vala au lia o ia i se tasi o polokalame wa whaingoina o le World Strides ma o le polokalame nei o loo whaataunu uina i tutono o Farani i Lisi, Paris, ma Greece i le whaiunga o le tausanga o le amalanga tuai o ia. I le nei tai au whaatalo whaatu i lausunga a Aigagalefili.
Talofa lava.
Whaptai mo le whaawanoa ino o lau teimi nei tai au. Thank you for taking the time out. Can you tell us a bit about yourself? Tu atu le awanoa a Aigagalefili e whailoa mai ei o nuu i Samoa o ai o mātua whaamulemole?
I'm the proud daughter of Fepulea'i Semi and Semi Fepulea'i. My family comes from the villages of Whaiai and Sangonia in Tuivaiti, Samoa, and I'm proudly born and raised in Mangere, South Okilangi.
Love it. Now, o le ale winga ia te oe o le avea o oe masi tangata ua manu malo I tusi solo. What does it mean to you being an award-winning poet or an orator? What does that mean to you?
To me, it's an act of claiming our stories as Pasifika people, whether you're from South Auckland, whether you're from somewhere where people have been telling your story for you. It's about being able to stand strong and say, I have my voice and I'm able to say what I think is true to us. And so that's what it means to me, being able to connect to your own community and tell those stories, and to tell it truthfully and tell it with a lot of love and alofa.
And first-hand experience I meo lo tutupu I a tātou o langa. E mawhai fo I ona e whaamatalaina le winga o le Pacific Youth Advocate and Indigenous Environmental Activist. Can you explain what a Pacific Youth Advocate means and your work as an Indigenous Environmental Activist?
As a Pacific Youth Advocate, I don't think it's a secret that our Pasifika youth face a lot of issues in our society, a lot of issues that we may not hear on an everyday basis, but I think everyone knows someone close to them or has been through it themselves, whether it's to do with issues in the education system, whether it's to do with mental health, whether it's to do with poverty. It's a lot of things that aren't uncommon in our community. And so being a Pasifika youth advocate means being able to uplift and empower the youth around you and being able to speak truth to these issues and not just sweep it under the rug. I think it's important to have those conversations with our youth because it makes them feel safe and it makes them feel like they can talk about these things, especially when they're such heavy things. And so being on the flip side, environmental activist, climate change in the Pacific, it's a massive issue. Even when I speak to my parents about it, they talk about how different Samoa is compared to when they were growing up, how the water has changed, how even things like fishing has changed. You go to the makiki and it's not the same fish they used to be there. Small things like that, as well as rising sea levels. It's important to protect our land and our homeland as Pasifika people. And so the work that I do to advocate against the effects of climate change, that's what it means to be an environmentalist activist. And I don't think it's new. I think our people, it's ingrained in our culture. We've been doing it for centuries and centuries. So it's just continuing that fight of our ancestors.
I love that, Aigagalefili. Thank you for speaking on that. Now, you touched on education system. Manisi for your issues, po mata upo lo o afia I whanawa onga. E mawhaiona e tala la ititi le vaenga lea. Can you explain some of the issues that are affecting our tupulanga at the forefront right now?
I think the pandemic has made a lot of the issues even worse. I think schooling during the pandemic has been extremely hard. I started my last year of high school while we had just gone into the pandemic. So things like educational inequality, not having the same access to resources as higher decimal schools, or maybe being someone in your family where you have to work as well as study. It's not new and it's not rare at all, but I think it is very specific to Pacifica, and that it's something that we've been taught to just take it on and to just to go ahead, which is good. It's important to be able to work hard and do those things, but I think we need to be able to see the differences in privilege when it comes to education, and we need to be able to see why it is that our students aren't given the same opportunities to their dreams that other students with more privileges than them are. And so that's really where I see the issue in education right now.
O le tutusa o onga a whanauia o loo iei inisio a onga pei a whaataitainga o Aukilani Saute ma onga ia o loo latalata I tei le taulanga. O se tasi o mata upo o loo a whiai whanau a onga. Ia te oe o le a se vaenga e mawhai ona tātou whesoswani ai I tupulanga talavoula ia. What is something that we can do to help, our kids so that they can get the quality education?
I think firstly I'd say to students that are currently studying, it's important to remember that you're always valuable to the education system. There's always a place for you in higher education and whatever it is you want to do. Sometimes with everything that's in the media and all the stereotypes that are put on our youth, I think that they believe that they aren't able to do it before they even tried to do it first. And so it's important to always encourage them that education is the key to financial freedom, to doing what you want in life, to making sure that you have all these options open to you in the future. And so encouraging them and always putting that belief in them, I think is really important, because that's the same belief that my parents instilled in me, and that helped so much throughout my education.
Yeah, mana ia le fautuanga, so o le whaamalo si awi whanau ia, pei lava o tele lava o tangata ia o loo au sia isi matati ama liko tifou I tutonu New Zealand e mesio laulangi atoa tangata Samoa lea sa lato yei mata upupo issues fo ia, ai sa lato mawhai ona overcome ona o le lango tangata ia ma le belief fo I pei ona e talanoa yei I le neitai au Aigagalefili. Thank you for touching on that. Now, speaking about your studies, environmental sciences and law, congratulations on this. O le ani o hama iau su isu inga I le teimine. How is this going for you?
I think it's really new and exciting for me. Now that I'm preparing to go study abroad, study overseas, it's cool to see where education can take you in life and what doors it can open. So I'm really grateful.
What are the challenges you find in this space as a Pacifica woman? O ani lu itawa e silafia I awa noa ia mo tamaitai Pacifica?
I think sometimes people will underestimate you based off face value. Based off when they first see you, they'll think, you don't have to take her that seriously because she's Pacifica, she's a young woman. But I believe sometimes that can be a superpower because once you know how people perceive you in that space, all you need to do is work hard. You need to work hard. Don't shy away. Don't feel like your voice needs to be small and you just need to keep to yourself. No, take up all the space that you deserve and make sure that you do things with the mindset that you deserve to be there and you deserve to get good grades and you deserve to be outspoken. And once you do that, people will definitely take notice and it'll open a lot of doors. And I think it's important to balance your family life and your university life. I know that our youth, we have so many responsibilities. You have church, you have family, you have school on top of that, you may have work. And it is hard, but it pays off. It will be worth it.
Balance, use that as an encouragement to continue on with your studies and take up space. Now, Leana e talanoa mata ua, massive congratulations on being selected Filifilia e awai I le gap year program a le World Strides. O le ase langona ia te oe ina ua maua le tala o lea ua maua pe wala au lia oe I lea fo I polo kalame. What are some of the emotions or feelings you felt when you received received the great news that you've been invited to participate in this program?
Firstly, shocked. I don't think I believed it for a while. I couldn't believe what I was reading, but just massive gratitude, a whole wave of gratitude came over me. And I think I felt very honored and almost feel a sense of responsibility to be able to represent our people properly on a stage like that. And to be able to talk about, it's about sustainability, so talking about Pacific Islands, climate change, talking about that type of thing and bringing our stories into that space. So I feel very honored, and I feel like I need to live up to that responsibility.
O le ase e mawhaiona e whamatala mai o le ale wingo le polokalami lea. What is the World Strides Gap Year program?
And so students from around the world, they go to different countries in Europe and they study different courses based around the United Nations sustainability goals. And so for each country that I'll be traveling to, I'll be doing different university courses, and it'll add on to my degree that I'm doing right now.
That's so exciting. Now, you said it's Paris. O hafo isi atunu o le a e malanga ai?
Granada, Spain, and Athens, Greece.
That is so exciting. Aigagalefili. O le ase o leo le whai u le talatala noanga, but Fia, I want to touch on your feelings and what you feel going over. Like, what do you think are some of the challenges that you will face? O le ani nui tau o le a whiangai maoe a o e yaits tono atunu uia.
I think the biggest challenge would probably be a culture shock. Being surrounded by such a different culture might take some adjusting to, and of course missing my family is going to be the longest I've ever been away from them, so things like that. But at the same time, I think, like I said before, remembering the reason why I'm there should hopefully be enough to keep me, those things will just seem small in comparison. So
what is your goal going there and participating in this? What do you hope to achieve?
Firstly, I hope to be able to bring the perspective of the Pacific region. I'm not sure if there will be other people. Hopefully there's other people coming from the Pacific region to this program. But if not, that's even more of a reason why I need to be bringing our stories and our experiences to that program so people know that, know what we'll go through in terms of climate change. Secondly, I want to be able to learn as much as I can to bring it back home, and use that knowledge to build something here as well. And to just go over there and have lots of fun.
Oh, of course,
to have
yes.
fun and to do my good studies. So, yeah.
Have fun and learn. That's it. And our last question, Aigagalefili Fepulea'i o le ase fautuanga ua ngā mo oe o lo e fia whaasoa I tupulanga o lo o whaalongolongo mai nei teimi. What is an advice that you have held on to that has helped you so much in your journey so far that you would like to share with tupulanga?
It would be to live your life being the type of ancestor that you would want your descendants to see. I think that's one that's led my life for a long time now, especially thinking of the sacrifices of our own ancestors and how much they've done for us. I think it's important to keep that cycle going. And so, yeah, always think about what your future generations will go through and how your life right now will impact that.
Thank you so much, Aigagalefili le awai mai le tātou polokalame I le nei tai au. Wishing you all the best. Mahalo le whaaya tunu ufo I tūlanga ia o le e malanga atuai, o le mātou talo ia whaatasi le atua maoe, ma whaamanuia le atua iau la asanga uma. We're very excited to see where this is going to lead. But for now, thank you so much for taking the time out to be with us this morning.
Tawhiti le lava.